In the chaotic world of hip-hop, where competition fuels creativity, one figure has changed conflict into an art form. That is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Raised in Queens, New York, he used his rough upbringing as fuel for his goals. Since entering the world of music, 50's career has been built on conflict, hostility, and relentless feuds. Unlike most, he doesn't just sit back and wait for individuals to disrespect him. He creates wars, targeting artists who never threw a shot at him. As for 50 Cent, his entrance to the rap world was more or less loud and unapologetic. In hip-hop, storytelling through lyrics includes clashes and beefs as much as the actual songs or lyrics do. From Tupac and Biggie to Drake and Kendrick, beef fuels hip-hop. 50 Cent, however, took it to another level when no one thought beef was literal. A provocateur, a troublemaker, and more than anything else, a strategist. 50 entered the rap game not with a bang, but with a barrage of shots fired at everyone around him. In a 2017 interview with Ebro in the Morning, 50 Cent spoke about his confrontational style and approach to business.
I don't know how to not respond to someone that I feel like is trying to hurt me. So I'm gonna start trying to hurt people around here.
Since he started rapping, 50 Cent did not merely participate in beef, he relished in it. His breakout single, How to Rob, which dropped in August 1999, gave the signal for war. The song targeted several of hip-hop's biggest icons, which included Jay-Z, DMX, and Big Pun. But unlike most diss tracks, 50 wasn't responding to the words said about him. He was attacking artists even before artists had the chance to pay him any attention. How to Rob was a blatant debut. Over a plain beat, 50 laid out an imaginary scenario about robbing all the biggest stars in hip-hop. The lyrics were funny, but even gangster, and had balls. 50 raps: I rob Pun without a gun, snatch his piece and run. This nigga weigh 400 pounds, how you gonna catch me, son? And what Jigga just sold, like 4 mil, he got something to live for. Don't want niggas putting 4 through that Bentley coupe door. Both Big Pun and Jay-Z responded to 50's track. Big Pun with his 2000 song, My Turn. And to the 50 Cent rapper, very funny, get your nut off. Cause in real life, you don't know, I'll blow your motherfucking head off. Jay-Z responded to 50 at the 1999 Summer Jam performance in his song, It's Hot, Some Like It Hot. Go against Jigga, your ass is dense. I'm about $1, but the fuck is 50 cents? Whereas some artists could take the track in, just as Jay-Z and Big Pun, it provoked others as an attack on Legends by 50 Cent, an unknown artist coming for Legends. We cannot discuss How to Rob as anything but a strategic publicity stunt in an increasingly competitive musical landscape. However, not everyone appreciated 50's tactics. Nas, a revered figure in hip-hop, was also targeted in 50 Cent's 2005 track, Piggy. Khalees said a milkshake bring all the boys to the yard that Nas went and tattooed the bitch on his arm. I mean, like way out in Cali, niggas know you, cuz. First thing they say about you is you's a sucker for love. Nas chose not to respond, stating that 50 didn't have enough hit records to warrant him responding with a diss track of his own. As 50's name was beginning to take off, there was a major turning point in his life. In May 2000, he was riddled with bullets, a total of 9 times, outside of his grandmother's house in Jamaica, Queens. Some believed his provocative lyrics and growing notoriety made him a target. The incident nearly ended his life, but it fueled his ambition. While still in hospital, 50 promised to double down on his approach. Conflict had nearly killed him, but it also made him invincible. 50 Cent and Ja Rule's rivalry began far from the studio, long before they dominated headlines with diss tracks and public insults. More as a personal conflict, this feud grew into one of the more vicious beefs in hip-hop history. According to 50, his beef with Ja Rule began in the late 1990s over an incident where Ja Rule was allegedly robbed at gunpoint for his chain by someone connected to 50 Cent. Ja Rule reportedly blamed 50 for being involved or at least being affiliated with the person responsible. However, according to Ja Rule, who had a conversation with Minister Louis Farrakhan, stated that the feud stemmed from him unknowingly snubbing 50 Cent during a music video shoot on Jamaica Avenue. He stated, I think it all started when I was doing a video shoot on Jamaica Avenue. We're from the same neighborhood, and everybody in the neighborhood said that Murder Inc. was on the brink of doing big things. 50 Cent was an artist at the time too. It was a situation where 50 wanted to be involved, but didn't know how to go about it. He's seen how much love we received on the avenue from all the people, because this is our neighborhood. The whole South Side is there on Jamaica Avenue for the video shoot, and I think 50 didn't like the fact that I was getting so much love. I didn't know the dude, didn't have any confrontations before this, as the legend would have it. He supposedly spoke to me and said, "What's up?" And I said, "Alright, what up?" Apparently that wasn't good enough or something, I don't know. Later he came out like, I'm gonna use other big rappers' names and diss and downplay them to bring attention to me, which is a great plan, but all you're doing is creating hatred for yourself from other artists. When he made the record about me, I didn't think it was funny or cool. He'd made 2 records at the time. In How to Rob, he talked about how he was gonna rob all these major rappers and artists. It was a jokey kind of record, but a lot of people took offense. I wasn't mentioned in that record, but the other one called Murder, I Don't Believe You, or something like that, Life's on the Line, set my whole thing spinning. So when we saw each other, it was immediate brawl confrontation. We don't like each other. This led to ongoing hostility, diss tracks, and even physical altercations between the 2 rappers and their respective crews over the years. In 2000, 50 Cent and Ja Rule got involved into a physical fight at a nightclub in Atlanta. The fight reportedly left 50 Cent with a stab wound. However, 50 Cent and his crew downplayed the severity of the injury. Later that year, 50 Cent targeted Ja Rule in his track, Your Life's on the Line, and was one of the first shots fired. Scream murder, I don't believe you, murder, fuck around and leave you, murder, I don't believe you, murder, murder, your life's on the line. Then, in 2002, 50 Cent signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre's Shady Aftermath Records, which was a turning point in the feud. With the release of Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003, 50 continued his dominance in hip-hop. Some songs like Back Down were laid specifically to diss Ja Rule as being fake and inconsequential. The rap game is all f***ed up now. What we gonna do now? How we gonna eat, man? 50 back around. That's Jalo, punk ass thinking out loud. Southside till I die, that's just how I get down. I'm back in the game, shawty, to rule and conquer. You sing for hope and sound like the Cookie Monster. Ja Rule eventually responded a few months later with Loose Change, in which he directly attacked 50 Cent. I really don't care to stand, but 50 you gon' get shot again by the MURDER Inc. The back and forth continued with tracks like Hail Mary and Clapback, where both artists showcased their lyrical pro-war. Ja Rule had established himself as one of hip-hop's rising stars by 1999. His melodic hooks and crossover hits sold him as an artist. But while Ja was building his empire, 50 Cent was aiming to tear it down. While Murder Inc. was under federal investigation for money laundering, 50 Cent capitalized on the moment, publicly ridiculing Ja Rule and his label's struggles. While Ja Rule's career was falling, 50 thrived, using the feud as a stepping stone. However, the grudge never truly ended. In 2018, 50 Cent famously bought 200 front row tickets to Ja Rule's concert as a part of their long-running feud. He claimed he purchased the tickets so that the seats would remain empty, mocking Ja Rule by posting about it on social media. The incident became another memorable moment in their public rivalry, which dates back to the early 2000s. The move went viral, showing 50's ability to keep the feud alive. In a 2023 interview with The Shade Room, Ja spoke about his feud with 50 Cent, stating, "Life is short. I think these things can be mended. Maybe I got a little too much MLK in me, but especially amongst black people. I don't like to see us beefing. That's clown shit to me." The beef with Fat Joe and Jadakiss had nothing to do with the duo having an issue. Fat Joe and Jadakiss's collaboration with Ja Rule on the track New York, celebrating their city, was an act of betrayal in 50's eyes, since Ja Rule was his enemy. To 50, loyalty wasn't just personal, it was political. As far as he was concerned, anyone that ever did business with his rivals was also marked for attack. In his 2005 track, Piggy, 50 Cent did not shy away from dissing Fat Joe and Jadakiss for linking up with Ja Rule. Their affiliation with his foe placed them in the firing line. That fat nigga thought Lean Back was in the club, my shit sold 11 mil, his shit was a dud. Jada, don't f with me if you wanna eat, cause I'll do your little ass like Jay did Mobb Deep. In return, Fat Joe responded with his 2005 track, My Fofo, where he called out 50 for his continuous efforts towards seeking controversy and threatening 50 and his family. 50, you gon' end up dead when you fucking with crap. Talking about you gon' pop off, where the fuck you be at? I see MJ in the hood more than Curtis. Matter of fact, this beef shit is making niggas nervous. It's gonna be families grieving every Sunday service. End up with your head popped off thanks to Curtis. Jadakiss, known for his lyrical prowess, fired back at 50 with his 2005 track, Checkmate. You ain't get shot again yet, so what's your second album about? Your raps are preschool, you made a lot of money, now be cool. And you had to get shot 9 times to be rich. Fat Joe and Jadakiss survived the storm. They carried on their careers and, by and large, retained their established images as respected artists. But the feud highlighted a recurring theme in 50's playbook, being able to change neutrality into an opposition. In a 2019 interview with The Breakfast Club, Fat Joe explains what it was like beefing with 50.
Do you know what it's like to have beef with 50 Cent? 50 Cent is incredible with the beef, not just musically, with every day he was going viral. Yo, your mom mother, your wife. I'm like, oh my God, this guy here. Like, don't get beef with 50 Cent. If you can't have thick skin, you gonna really go through it. Let me give it to Wendy Williams every day for no reason.
For 50, beef wasn't just a tactic, but a marketing strategy. By the mid-2000s, he had made conflicts in the business, using rivalries to ensure his name was afloat and that opponents don't have a chance to breathe. It also became quite visible in his own group, G-Unit, which he built from the ground up and helped collapse. In 2003, 50 Cent inked the game to his label with the intention of adding the newest talent to G-Unit. At first, the relationship looked quite bright. Songs like Hate It or Love It and How We Do skyrocketed to the top of the charts, but tensions quickly emerged. In a 2021 Drinks Champs interview, the game talked about how things got heated between him and 50.
50, you know, when we was at it, he was saying like he wrote like my album, like I really couldn't do this shit by my own, and that's what really started causing tension.
The final nail in the coffin came in 2005 when, instead of coming to 50's defense in his beef with Jadakiss and Fat Joe, Game's reluctance to participate in feuds with 50 dissatisfied him, which was a key factor in the breakdown of their relationship. While live on air with Power 105.1, 50 effectively announced that Game was dropped from G-Unit. Tensions reached a boiling point in February 2005 when 50 reinforced his claim during a Hot 97 interview that Game had been dropped from G-Unit. The situation took a violent turn when Game showed up at the studio with his entourage, leading to a brief shootout between their crews. 3 months later, the Game released 300 Bars and Running, a near 15-minute diss track aimed at 50 Cent and G-Unit. You sell records, but at G you not, acting big on the radio, to me you not. 50 Cent replied with his 2006 diss track, Not Rich, Still Lying, where he mockingly raps as the Game. 50 calling me crazy, I might be just maybe. I'm gangster, I'm crippin', Damu too, I'm trippin'. Fuck 50, fuck Dre, fucking WA. Man, I'm Hurricane Game. This nigga changed. I brought the West back, I write the best raps. But what about Snoop? Snoop's shit ain't all that. 50 Cent's willingness to feud wasn't limited to former allies. He took aim at Rick Ross in 2009 on Officer Ricky, Go Ahead Try Me, in which he mocked Ross for working as a prison officer. Screaming boss, nigga you ain't a boss, pussy nigga you lost. Listen Officer Ross, I'll tell you straight, suck a dick. You tryna come with subliminals cause you asked the police. The rivalry escalated to one of the most bitter in 50 Cent's career because both artists took shots directly at each other in songs, interviews, and on social media. In the same way, 50 turned on Young Buck, a former G-Unit member, after falling out with him over money issues by publicly leaking telephone calls. In July 2018, Young Buck explains to The Breakfast Club how difficult it was for him to navigate through 50's many beefs.
At the same time, I was more or less focused on the fact that, you know, with some of the individuals I didn't have a personal situation with, versus then him being big bro and having these situations. So it was kind of hard for me at that time when, you know, he having you know, certain beefs with individuals, and then I run into these individuals and they looking to give me all the love in the world when I'm basically there to tear their head off.
From the Game to Rick Ross, 50 Cent's feuds became a key part of his identity. They weren't just personal vendettas, they were strategic moves designed to dominate headlines, bolster his image, and keep his name relevant. One might say that 50 Cent was successful since he is one of the modern rappers. However, he is one of the modern antagonists as well. From strutting the streets of South Jamaica, Queens, to the king of rap and hip-hop empires, his rawness and rather crude demeanor has been his marketing point. But what makes 50 Cent unique isn't just his resilience, it's his unrelenting approach to conflict. 50 also has a history of continually trolling his rivals on Instagram, which include Diddy, Rick Ross, and Ja Rule, to engage his audience and to be the center of attention. In May 2024, 50 Cent posted an image on Instagram featuring R. Kelly with Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, with Rocco's song featuring Rick Ross, UOENO, in the background. The song includes the controversial lyrics, "Put Molly all in her champagne, she ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that, she ain't even know it." In the caption, 50 questions the decision to include such lyrics in a song, writing, "You know, sometimes I think people are just stupid. Why would you say this in a song?" 50 Cent captioned his post, "I drugged her ass and I ripped her ass and she ain't even know it." This had a bearing on his music through fearlessness. Songs such as How to Rob and Mini Men were in your face, assertive, and aggressiveness towards life and people paved way for 50's icon as a man who feeds on adversities. But for 50, controversy was not a threat because it was the chance to popularize himself even more. From the start, he leaned into his role as a provocateur, understanding that feuds could generate attention he wants. In the December-January 2012 issue of XXL magazine, 50 Cent talked about his approach to the music industry. He mentioned, "I have a decade. I have 10 years that nobody's better than me." This shows his confidence and commitment to his identity. 50's unapologetic nature was best seen in his beef. From Ja Rule to Rick Ross, 50 Cent escalated his feuds not just to other rappers, but often ensured that confrontation was very public, which reinforced his image as hip-hop's villain. Unlike other artists who eventually came for revenge, 50 continued down this path. In his conflict with Ja Rule, he dissed him in songs and further antagonized him on social media for more than 2 decades. But 50 Cent, being 50, is not without controversies. He has been described by critics as toxic, unnecessarily mean, excessively focused on conflict and beef. 50 also talked on the importance of maintaining a position of power in his book, From Pieces to Weight, Once Upon a Time in Southside Queens. He writes, "That's when I realized that as long as you don't broadcast your beefs, you can get away cold with murder. It's even better if you don't allow the beef to take place. If someone disrespects you, you can know in your heart that you're going to get him, but you don't have to show him there's a beef. You can just look at it like, okay, this nigga must not know, and then you fall back and you put it down." While 50's aggressive style gets him what he wants, though it isolates him from many people in the industry, some former friends like The Game and Young Buck have had words with him for not being able to move on, and some have just avoided him. After all this, 50 shows no signs of changing. His focus remains on winning, without caring at what cost. Authenticity is everything in hip-hop, but for 50, being unapologetic has solidified his legacy. Love him or hate him, 50 Cent's refusal to change has made him one of hip-hop's most admiring figures. Perhaps few artists are as polarizing in the hip-hop genre as 50 Cent is today. Aside from his music and business investments, how he has managed conflicts defines hip-hop culture. 50 has certainly set the bar for inviting controversy and using controversies as tools for promotion, and in the process has changed the way artists go to war in the new generation of hip-hop. It's important to remember that 50 Cent didn't start this rap feud, but he certainly took it to a whole new level. It used to be that beefs and battles in hip-hop were generally contained to music. Diss tracks were usually prepared to demean an opponent or rival. Think of Nas's Ether or Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. While 50 took it a step further and used beef for full-blown marketing campaigns. By consistently and viciously going at war with Ja Rule, both in his music and off stage, 50 in a way laid a concrete foundation for his own rise, while also eradicating Ja's reign in the initial years of the new millennium. With the advent of social media, 50 was able to evolve and fit into new strategies that were relevant within the evolving social media age industry. Instagram and X soon replaced the radio as the new battlegrounds where he could escalate the fights in real time. Today's rappers owe a major debt to 50 for popularizing the nitty-gritty of feuds. Artists such as Tekashi 6ix9ine, who named 50 Cent as his muse, followed in the same footsteps. Loud and provocative actions that kept them in the spotlight of growing attention. Critics of his work maintain that his concentration on fight has delinked him from other elements of his talent. The rest have criticized him for promoting negativity and clout chasing amongst people. Charlemagne the God, however, commented on 50 Cent during the Brilliant Idiots podcast in 2024, stating,
50 Cent is probably more entertaining now.
That was a great
at
interview.
40 plus years old.
Great interview.
He's always been entertaining.
Go watch
There's
that
never been
shit.
a version of 50 that's not entertaining.
Go watch that shit. You just see how his brain works.
That's why the approach that 50 Cent uses in feuds is viewed as a business strategy. He has been a prime example in branding and marketing due to his opportunistic ability of turning conflict into profitability. 50's Power Press tours and G-Unit merchandise sales surges during high-profile feuds. In a 2018 interview with Forbes, 50 talked about his passion for producing and the strategic decisions behind his Hollywood ventures. He said, "My aura is being built on the brand 50 Cent, and some people are going to see me as that regardless. They might see unique things or different things that they didn't think were possible for 50 Cent, but that's because they didn't have all the information. I do have that information. With music, you become your song, you become what you say, but that's not actually who you are."